A festival favorite is back. Get ready for a sizzling showcase featuring LGBTQI+ writers and artists from across the Caribbean and the diaspora. Welcome to Backchat 2022. Presented in partnership with TNT's CAISO and NovelNiche, Jamaica's Rebel Women Lit, and Intersect Antigua. Part of the NGC Bocas Lit Fest's 4 days to change the world.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the NGC Bocas Lit Fest, and I'm proud to welcome you to Backchat 2022, embracing power and making change, celebrating Caribbean LGBTQI writers and stories. Powered by the NGC Bocas Lit Fest as well as CAISO, Sex and Gender Justice. I'm your host tonight, Felipe Alexander, and I'm so happy to be here. Alongside me is Kellogg and Johanna of CAISO.
Thanks, Felipe. Hi, I'm Johanna, the Projects and Outreach Coordinator at CAISO Sex and Gender Justice. We are so happy to bring you Backchat 2022.
Yes, we are. And I'm Kellogg, the Program and Research Associate at CAISO. We're happy to be here with you tonight at the NGC Bocas Lit Fest for a much-needed evening of celebration with LGBTQI+ writers, performers, and artists. CAISO has been partnering with Bocas since 2017 to bring together and feature LGBTQI+ writers in the Caribbean and the diaspora.
We call this event Backchat in honor of the groundbreaking Caribbean LGBT literary readings held in New York over 20 years ago, which was curated by our very own late founder and director of imagination, Colin Robinson, and friend of CAISO, Rosamond S, who joins us tonight. For us, Backchat is about talking back and embracing power from our perspectives as Caribbean LGBTI people. And we're thrilled this year to welcome partners Rebel Women Lit, Intersect Antigua, and NovelNiche. You will hear from our partners throughout tonight's proceedings.
Yes, talking back is always important. We continue in this tradition, showcasing and celebrating Caribbean diverse sexualities and gender. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, we present to you this virtual experience. We will now hand you back to our host, Felipe, to take us through this night's proceedings.
Getting right into it, our first writer is Kei Miller, hailing from Jamaica, one of my good friends, writers of August Town, as well as Things I Have Withheld, which I probably have to add to my list of things I have not read as yet. Please do not judge me. Here is his short poem, A Song for Gay Boys.
Hi everyone, I'm Kei Miller. Thank you for having me in this wonderful Backchat meeting to elevate the voices of LGBT people in the Caribbean. I'm going to read a poem from my last book of poetry, In Nearby Bushes. And the poem is called A Psalm for Gay Boys. I wrote it after listening to a Facebook Live testimony of a young man in Jamaica who had to leave his community. And what he said on that Facebook Live, I wrote it down because I was thinking about these nearby bushes, and it became the epigraph for this poem. So what he said was this. I'll say it in English and then I'll read what he actually wrote. He said that when he left, he had to go through the bushes because if he took the road, they would have killed him. But to transcribe it exactly as he said it, which is the epigraph to the poem, he said, when me leave me, I have to go through the bushes, cause if me did take the road, then would have killed me. A psalm for gay boys. Here that is the confession and the truth and the softness amongst the thorns, where the married men roam at night, their trousers unzipped, where we are kissed by the same lips that curse us, where we suck the salt softly from each other's necks, but only at night, where we hide, where we are never hidden. Where are the shadows being our refuge and strength, a present help on the day of judgment. Where is the judgment? Where is no judgment? Where is the escape, but only at night, when the married men chase us and curse us with the same lips, where we run to, where we stop running, where men hang their jackets in trees, where the moon reveals the shapes of shoulders floating like Scott's apostrophe to pain, a landscape of strange lynchings. Where is the sobbing? Where is the I? Where we trace our fingers against each other's bare and trembling backs, where we kneel, where our mouths are full of things harder than prayers. Where is the away from home and the way home and the roadway in the wilderness and the way where there was no way, where we come to again and again and again here? That is the limboed land, a place between places, the ends of the earth. Here, that is the hear my cry, O Lord, my God, attend now to my prayer.
What an amazing piece. Thank you so much, Kai. Just so that you all know that he is the winner of the OCM Bocas Prize in 2018 for Augusttown, and recently the OCM Bocas Prize winner for nonfiction, Things I Have Withheld. Bringing it back home, we have Andre Bagoo, a Trinidadian-born writer of many essays and collection of poems. His most recent work is The Dreaming, which is coming very soon, so here's an extract from that.
Hi, my name is Andre Bagoo, and I'm going to be reading an extract from a story in my short story collection, The Dreaming. I met Trevor one night after I went to Brooklyn Bar. Notwithstanding its name, Brooklyn Bar was located on a street corner in the heart of Woodbrook. The bar had been around for decades, but its most recent claim to fame was being the setting of a viral video featuring the bar's resident doubles vendor, the son of a government minister, a heated conversation, and an alarmingly large cutlass. It was a Friday night in August, 7:30. I had taken Mother to the clinic again, and after we got home, I needed to blow some steam. In those days, I did this thing where I'd walk down from St. James to Brooklyn Bar, then go across to Shakers, then maybe over to Corner Bar or Drink Wine Bar, before ending up at Club Studio, next to Invader's Plan Yard, whining hard on some man to the steel pan music. Tonight, though, I wasn't sure I had energy for all that. The incident with the cutlass had done little to stop patrons. If anything, more people started coming because they'd forgotten you could drink and get doubles, and were now reminded of this. There was the usual crowd, the office people who had come straight from work, the gargoyles who sat staring at the large TVs above the bar, showing an assortment of sports, the single people on swivel stools who were looking, the couples for whom this was part of their date night itinerary, and the fitness fanatics who stopped by after a run or a hike because this was what fitness-conscious people in Trinidad liked to do: sweat, then drink. Some nights, the bar would be filled with buff, half-naked men who drove jeeps and trucks and four-wheel drives. Tonight, there was one such group. They wore sweatbands and neon exercise shorts. One of them had an incredibly well-trained Rottweiler on a red leash like an accessory. The dog panted his approval as the men laughed and smiled, holding bears and languidly leaning on their Land Rover parked next to them. I got up to play with the dog, dogs love me, and in my mind thought I would use this as a way to start chatting up one of the guys. But the dog started to growl and froth, and the men looked at me, with my goth Nevermore t-shirt and baggy trousers, like I was an alien who had just dropped from outer space. So, instead, I swerved and walked down the street to Arapita Avenue for a gyro to call it a night. 5 hours later, I was in Club Studio. I moved among the men like moving through an enchanted forest. Some of the guys were tall and thin, others stout and solid, some adorned with foliage, others bare and bark-like. A delicate fog gave everything a soft haze. A mirror ball was like a water-sunk sun that changed and changed and changed its color as though trying out outfits before going out. The DJ was blasting soca, Patrice Roberts, whom I loved, but then switched to reggae. Why? I pondered, why? So I decided to call it quits again. It was after 1, and I was not in the mood to walk home this late, so I phoned a taxi. Trevor came less than a minute later. That first night, Trevor was wearing a white shirt jack that gave off serious hot daddy vibes, even though he was younger than me. His black pleated trousers were tight on his tree trunk legs, but bunched at the crotch. He was incredibly polite, too polite in fact, and I had to ask him to stop calling me Mr. Denny, telling him repeatedly to just say Kyle. I soon started to hire him every time I had to take Mom for dialysis, or every time I needed a lift home from somewhere. I liked the fact that he was handsome. I liked the fact that he was self-employed. I liked that he didn't judge me, and that he didn't mind picking me up at 4 a.m. outside Club Studio or Euphoria or that place up at St. Augustine with a name I never remembered. I liked the fact that he never asked me why I didn't drive. A car accident, when I was 11, turned me off driving forever. Meanwhile, he liked the fact that I took care of my mother. He liked the fact that I worked so hard at whatever project I was doing, though secretly I knew my job at the Ministry of Community Development, Youth Affairs and the Arts was a shitstorm. He liked the fact that I was curious about the world and liked to try new things. He was a taxi driver only for now, he'd say, but he wanted things, wanted a family. Maybe he could join the Defense Force and become a soldier, or maybe he could become a trainer and have classes in the savannah like his friend Jameson. Or maybe he could expand his taxi business, branch out and form his own taxi company with whatever network of cars he could afford. Sometimes, whenever he picked me up, he'd blast Drake in the car, and I could tell he was in a wistful mood about something, and we'd both talk about the future and what might be. And I'd enthuse about my latest dating prospect, and he'd say how glad he was that things were looking up. Then he'd drop me to wherever I was going.
Keeping it local, we have our next author, Shivanee Ramlochan, author of Everyone Knows I'm a Haunting. She's a member of the Bocas Lit Fest team, including the person who got me this job. Here is her piece, Can't Burn Down.
My name is Shivanee Ramlochan, and I'm the author of Everyone Knows I'm a Haunting. I've written many gay poems in my life, but Can't Burn Down, which I'm going to read now, was probably the first I read in public. Camp Burn Down. You and me, and the fires we used to keep each other alive. The fire at Camp Belandra, the fire at Fort George, the fire at Fuck My Throat while my mother is on the phone, and the islands flooding, so everyone's indoors, but you are the skinniest raft not provided for by the government. Unlawful from here to Tobago and back. There are small welts on the backs of your hands as you braid me down to the campsite. This is the camp of Sunday afters. Your father's car radio melting our eardrums while you move in me. This is the fort of no retracing. Every place on my body you touch, burned, nova, burned past recognition. You burn me into an atlas, into a Form 1 geometry tin, gripped inside a prefix handspan, cock to cheap Vaseline, burning me something new in each fire. Snow might come to Tunapuna, and your father would still spill my guts in front of the market. There would be hail in the public library, and your father's pig cutlass opening my thigh. The weather could vomit itself, turn the catalogs of gust and gale inside out, and the biggest damage would be what I've done to you. Remember the camp at the edge of the island, the white stones brining to nothing as you nerve ground them between thumb and tongue, scattering the wet cremations on my forehead. I bless you, you said. I bless you here. Nothing touched us except the rest of the world.
Now we're going to hear from one of our Backchat partners, Intersect Antigua, where they're going to speak about some of their work as well as introduce our next writer.
Hello everyone, I am Sarah Ann Gresham and I'm the co-founder of the Caribbean feminist collective Intersect Antigua. Anika Nicholas and I created Intersect in 2015 to spark dialogue and action on feminism, gender-based violence, and queer liberation. Intersect began as a small online community comprised mostly of Antiguans, where people engaged in cyber-feminist consciousness raising about what it means to move in and through the nation as women and as queer people amid rampant misogynoir, queerphobia, and transphobia. Team Intersect has hosted and led feminist teach-ins with Antiguan students, queer-centered workshops with Antiguan mental health professionals, and we've also engaged the media on reproductive justice and a range of topics germane to Caribbean liberation. In 2020, we launched our Caribbean Feminist Stories project, where we curated over 150 stories, essays, poems, art, and photography from around the region and the diaspora on mental health, carnival bodies, colorism, radical love in the time of Corona, gender-based violence under the theme This Is Not Love, and of course, growing up queer. This year, we are launching Volume 2 of this series on environmental justice and invite you to peruse intersectantigua.com to read previous and forthcoming submissions, as well as our original artwork by our resident artist, Lem. For this year's Backchat event, Intersect Antigua is very happy and excited to present Willum Watt, an Antiguan artist and poet who submitted several pieces to us for both volumes of our Caribbean Feminist Stories project. They soon became part of Team Intersect and has been helping us to story the Caribbean for gender justice and queer liberation. Willum is a passionate person who loves to make art with natural mediums. They also love to make music, explore nature, write poetry, and they work towards helping environment and culture collaborate to build a diverse and lively Caribbean. They believe sustainability, creativity, feminism, and economic progression go hand in hand, and they're excited to help build a community that shares these sentiments. They are especially passionate about LGBTQ rights and lived experiences and the power of artistic expression. Without further ado, please join Team Intersect in welcoming Willum Watt.
In Chrysalis. There is a misconception that the love of a man is hard, reminiscent of a stone statue. They are hardened, unmoving, craggy, and as such brittle. I, a man, know of course this is not universal, but still the image of a woman brings the rains which carve the mountain, brings breeze on a humid day, disarms a tense room with an easy laugh. Of course this is a fallacy. Somehow I reimagine how soft their skin must feel in each other, how the perfumes collide in the air, how their dresses wash back and forth like waves on a calm shore while playing tag. The softness of their palms clapping together, the chimes of their voices singing, "Look who's here, Punchinella, Punchinella," or some other game song. The necklaces tangling together and the hair intertwining. Of course I know this is a fallacy, that probably only a man could romanticize the life of a woman, could envy the touch of a feminine entity. This is but a dream. It could only be a dream to have hair that reaches past my waist, that my sisters would braid from behind and our friends behind them. Only could be a dream that I would have fuller lips and a forgiving frame. Imagine dreaming that my skin could shed roses as I step. Everything I touch melts with ease. Imagine dreaming to be heat, to boil and burn. Imagine dreaming to ignite desire as I dance. Imagine having a vision of yourself with a smile wider than your face can stretch. Imagine your water when you walk. Imagine lifting your arms like thermals to the sky, gold cocooning every extremity. I don't touch women. I don't touch any women besides my mother. I'm resigned to the cold and stone and tension. I fall in love with statues day by day. As we grind ourselves together like plates, we do not ebb, we fragment each other. It starts at the joints. The fingers crumble away. The elbows fracture, the ankles crack, the knees buckle. After the frame has weakened, the rains come. All the piles of dust we have poured together simply wash away. Where the stone's meat erodes further and further, she steals him away. Where the pressure has cracked the casing, she fills with fluid, with milk, with cum, with perfume, with foundation, with blood. She fills him with the promise of embryonic fluid, and like limestone in water, she eats him away. Like clay on a mountain, she sweeps him up in her infinite softness and molds him into mud. And I am left to rust in the elements. I don't touch women, but I have a dream that my skin would be soft like guava, and my hair the ferns that wave on tree branches in the wind. The truth is we were always here. We tilled soil, watered crops, carved stone, shot arrows. The truth is we extended out the soil like a softwood tree, whose bark bore bangles, whose branches draped batik blossoms in drunkfly circles. Spiraling drum vulture over the fire, peering into the singing forest below, piercing through the crimson leaves with a stone talon that dances over the embers. Fireflies that shine once, then pray that slick night has favored their dispensability. The truth is, we are the blossom in the shade. We are the night.
Our next author is Trinidad-born, Canada-based Shani Mootoo with her poem Masterclass, a poem that reminds us whether we're writing about colonial history, race, the environment, or any other issues facing us today, all issues are also lesbian issues.
Hello, I am Shani Mootoo. My poem is called Masterclass. 1. Old Audrey, once handsome, gentlewoman physician, sits straight as a pin, draws her knife and fork in. Words pearl from her noble lips. The British, each mote a crystal pendelog clinking, were the best thing ever to have happened to India. Before our arrival, India, you see, had no culture. Colonizers, inheritors, present-day countrymen. For argument's intent, let's suppose it's karma that caused, allowed you and not me to, in effect, be conqueror, colonizer, benefactor. Yes, yes, not you personally, but you who on that side reside and, well, benefit. Your, for argument's sake, karmic, for argument's sake, destiny to unapologetically manifest brawn, to rule, engage in land theft, occupation, resource robbery, the capture, enslavement of peoples, families that don't reflect you, chits on game boards sold piecemeal, millennia-old cultures shred to threads, the creation, dispensation of laws, rules, vocabulary of division and control, in her rusty country of domination and tyranny, where law enforcement whips into present-day subjugation people like me. Audrey's public facilities are designated ladies. In the country to which her ancestors furnished mine are stamped female. Enormously monstrous, atrociously heinous, outrageously flagrant plunderer, offspring of plunderer. It was you who inherited the earth. Gravy of ignorance, spoils of arrogance, still flow today in the perquisites of ordained skin. 2. Now, let's go along with this thing, karma, for argument's sake. It must follow that I, on the receiving end, karmically subaltern, opened the door. If when you see me, you see only what you want to see, or try as you might, or not, you can't, for the life of you, consider me. It has to follow then that all sociopolitical inequities inflicted by you, yours, and your systems on me and mine are my own damn fault. As such, having no claims, I must release blameless you. But apparently, you don't exactly go scot-free. My Buddhist cohorts advise, I need only worry about me, for even as I tap my feet, the universe is taking care of you. 3. Present-day causes create future effects. Life's mission then, elementary. Scrub, 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 whiten, erase, whiten. Oh, when I do, having learned so much from you, no longer meek, who and what shall I become? Will I inherit you? Logic demands an overall turnaround, reorienting you and your plundering karmic baggage, which my heartfelt apologies, had suffered you to drag around. Alluring Audrey, your confidence, your oblivion. Will we meet again? And when we do, I hope I will not have inherited you and your country's knife-edged arrogance, or been gifted with the poison of vengeance that destroys both poisoned and poisoner. The thing is, Audrey wasn't otherwise boorish, except for that empire-strutting, beastly certainty. And I suppose our damn karmas. 4. Dear Audrey, it gives me great... Dear Audrey, Dear Audrey, you have been... Dear Audrey, scrubbing, whitening, erasing, hoping, wanting, attempting, meaning, changing, thinking. Dear Audrey. Thank you. My parrots. Sorry about that. Thank you very much.
Now we hear from our next Backchat partner, hailing from Jamaica, Rebel Women Lit. Well, they talk about some of their work as well as introduce their next artist, Moon the Artist.
Hi, I'm Joreen Patmore, founder of Rebel Women Lit, a bibliotherapy community based in Jamaica with members across the world who are interested in building empathy through literature that we read. I founded Rebel Women Lit in 2017 with a group of friends who were involved in academic and activist spaces, and we wanted to read Audre Lorde together in a more relaxed setting. So we started a book club, and since then it's opened up from just being my friends to being a global community of readers who are interested in putting into practice a lot of the lessons that we read through our fiction and non-fiction book selections each month. We aren't just a book club anymore. Since that founding in 2017, we now have a community library which sends free books across the island to anyone who's interested in reading our curation. We also have a bookstore where we curate literature that we think is very interesting, and we sell those to customers locally, regionally, and internationally. We also have a magazine where writers who are interested in sharing their work with our community can publish and share their own works. We also have our podcast, and that is way more relaxed, where me and two of my other friends, we come together and we talk about books and just about everything else. But by far, one of my favorite things about Rebel Women Lit is being able to connect with the community that we have fostered and being introduced to new talented artists. One such artist is Moon. Moon is a multidisciplinary artist, and their work spans across visual arts, literature, music, jewelry making. Pretty much I'm convinced Moon can do anything. I'm really excited to introduce Moon today, who will be performing one of their more spicy pieces for us today, and I really hope you enjoy their work.
You catch me looking. What? You say? Nothing. You stare, tell me it's okay. Say it. And I want to, but what would I say? That yes, I do want you to fuck me. Yes, I want you to fuck me like it's the last sex you'll ever have. Like the world is falling to pieces and our love is the only thing that can save it. Like you'll run out of breath if you stop kissing me, biting me. Like the fire between our bodies is the very spark that set creation in motion. Drink me like I'm the best thing you've ever tasted. Like mine are the only waters left. I want you to fuck me like it's our salvation. To play my moans like your favorite song. Make a symphony of me. Play my body like a dub rhythm. Fingers stroking every note. Skin against skin. Love me like kete and djembe. Love me drum and bass. Waist whining, vibrating. Don't stop yet. I want you to choke me. Let me show you how much I trust you. Watch my eyes roll back, then breathe me back to life. Fuck me bones against concrete walls, bare ass on countertops, hands tied. Fuck me like 90s dance hall. Raw, uncensored, rough, loud. Like rebellion, like we alone can destroy the patriarchy. Fuck me with meaning, like our black and gold is beautiful enough to end colorism. Fuck me fast, like all our demons are chasing us. Then slow, like brown Whistler, or Aki opening, or honey. Fuck. Love me soft, Love me cotton and silk kisses till you cover every inch of me with the ganja on your lips, Cohiba roots like vines across my flesh. Love me smoke and gasping breath. Love me like you came to learn new languages, leave you speaking in tongues, licking, tasting every drip, don't waste a drop. Leave me digging nails into sheets and flesh, hands in your hair, summoning seasons and gods with these chords as I tremble. Love me in earthquakes, lightning and hurricane, then calm we enter the eye, mine old man make for with yours. This is what I want. This and more still, as I look at you, lay you on your back and show you all the ways I'd like to return the favor the exact same way. Can't you see it in my eyes? The ways I want to love you wholly like white rum, anoint all the neglected parts of your heart, body, spirit, love you in harmony, sigh simultaneous, make you moan melodically, make the neighbors jealous of us inside each other. Fuck. I want to love you, but I can't say this, can I? Say it, you say. I wrote you a poem, I reply.
Here to introduce our next writer, we have Shivanee Ramlochan. On behalf of her blog, NovelNiche, a partner to Backchat as well. My girl.
When I started NovelNiche, my book blog, in 2010, I was motivated by a simple but urgent desire to talk to people all around the world about books. If you can imagine it, back then, social media was barely a thing. Blogging was everything. And I used mine like a direct diary to my small but growing community, sharing my fears, passions, and inspirations embedded in the books I was devouring. The more I wrote at NovelNiche, the more I realized that in unveiling what I thought about these profound works of literature, I was sharing secret truths about myself. Now, 12 years later, that little book blog that could has done so many amazing things. NovelNiche is more political, more radical, and queerer than ever. It is committed to being a place where reading the Caribbean means you read the world, of being a safe space, yes, and also somewhere where everyone and anyone, Caribbean or otherwise, knows that what they feel about books and what they feel about themselves is always welcome. If I'd known writer Rosamond S. King back in 2010, her poems would have been the first ones I wrote about for NovelNiche. It gives me so much pleasure to introduce her performing what is a stellar, audacious poem, Darling You, Zami, a Backchat original. Rosamond, as many of you will know, is a veteran writer and performer. Most recently, her collection of poems, All the Rage, is a nominee for a Lambda Literary Award. She's also the author of the Lambda Literary winning Rock, Salt, Stone. Please enjoy and be galvanized by Rosamond S. King.
I am Rosamond S. King, and I co-created the first Backchat with Colin Robinson. This is a poem from my first collection, Rock, Salt, Stone. Darling, you, Zami, Mammy, Zami, auntie, nanny, and she. Les amis, les amis, les amis, leziz. Funny, Mako, Mako man, Mako mare, make ya come, make your mother come. Metrosexual, androgynous, lesbian, chic. Flirting, flirting, cute'll kill ya. You got a mouthful of fuck you and a cunt full of fuck me. Query, query, nation. Query, woman, open category, loving, woman, culturally loaded signifier, sexing, woman. Query, nation, with definable borders, crossable with expired passports. Query, nation. He always wanted to stick his finger in a dike. Dick, dike, deck, edge, deckled, dimpled edges, dumpled, rumbled, edgy, edged. Make your mouth a Sakia gun. I'm not interested. I'm a butch, transgender, fuck, aggressive, queer in the life. He always wanted to stick his. If you talk out the side of your neck, the sukuyon will fuck you dry. Triage, marriage, miscarriage of just this assimilation. Crouch in the streets, gem in the sheets. One of the children went in the life, came out with, we are family. Get used to it. Laddies and gentle dykes, the state of the civil union is strong-arming. By the transfiguration, questioning whose spirit, transfender, care, inter-ex, day thespians. And you overcome? Sodomite, sodomite. If you talk out the, if you, darling, you, Zammy, honest you do, honest you do, honest you do, whoa.
Thank you, Rosamond, for that amazing piece. Our next author is Guyanese-American writer Rajiv Mohabir. He is the writer of the memoir Anti-Man, as well as several poetry collections, including the recently released Cutlash.
Hi, my name is Rajiv Mohabir, and I'm going to be reading 3 small poems from my book, Cutlash. The Poco Kid. Matahet logan bolna sake hai, darasa nahi maral murjake. Let's get one thing queer. I'm no Sabu-like sidekick. I'm the main drag. Ram Ram in a sari, salam on the street. I don't speak Hindu, Paki, or Indian. Can't control minds, have no psychic powers. I clip my yellow nails at dusk. On Saturday nights, I shave my head. Forgive me, Shiva. Forgive me, Saturn. I'm coolie on Liberty Ave, Desi in Jackson Heights, where lights spell season's greetings to cover Christmas, Diwali, and Eid. Where white folks in ethnic aisles ask, will your parents arrange for your bride? While Ma and I scope out fags, gyaf and laugh, while aunties thread our eyebrows. The subaltern cannot speak. Representation has not withered away. The second poem I'm reading is called Hiranya Garbha. and it's dedicated to the hijras that made the transition, who made the crossing of the Kalapani from India to the Caribbean. Hiranya Garba. Born of cane stock, I am the first mad woman to descend barrack steps into a body of petals. In some Indian story, this grass is my ancestor, but I don't know it. To forget means to survive. I am expert at amnesia, new moon faced. I have my own mantra. Somewhere, my navel string sleeps under handfuls of rice fields dirt my father's father threw into sky to forecast gravity of shaping a ship. Now the land is erased under my feet. I am told I am nameless. We've spit out English, but this game of interpreting shadow, reading bodies into holes of text, a memory trick of presence. Oh, ancestors, I've inherited passing, how to disappear straight and to alveolarize my name, all blue, bribed by silk and hate, a relic, a lover's lip, a dead queer's tongue that licks assholes bald. Back against shipboards, the many-toothed snake striking this body, a well terrible with Kalapani. The last poem that I'm reading is called Indo Queer 4, and it's dedicated to Sundari, the Indian goddess. दूध रहे दूध और पानी रहे पानी, उड़त पक्षी के रंग कौन देख सकेला? Hear your aji talk, beta, you not get sense? Hear your nani say, chach, ya hergiyawak? When the elders gather, they will all clap their hands. They will beg for your rainbowed silks to wave and wave. I've seen it in Queens, at the Rajkumari Cultural Center, in curls, in kajal, in a lehenga. You dance walk to buskers' beats down Liberty, the A train and the E, to rum and coke and your wine, with 5 countries in your migration story. You still not get shame. Your father rum-stoned snores, though your mother cries for 2 years straight after she finds another man's underwear in your laundry. Milk remains milk. Water, water. Who can make out the flying bird's colors?
Hailing from Jamaica, we have fiction writer and poet Lesley-Ann Wanliss, who has published her prize-winning work widely in magazines and journals across the Caribbean.
Nostalgia in April. Say it's your 35th birthday, and I'm preparing a feast in your new kitchen. Hand deep in the belly of the freshly killed bird, pulling out its entrails. You found me yummy before this kitchen. The fall, its sound, footsteps, clamoring, silence, green. A girl, aghast, the decadence, chocolate triangles, rooftop cocoons, butterflies, birthday piñatas, fallen, beaten, begging. But maybe a bird's life cannot be saved. In absentia, plates of buffalo wings, toaster ovens, barbecued chicken, a yellow one-bedroom home, startled rat bats, chicken soup, diarrhea, the scent of oil paint, your skin. As my fingers wrap tear-pulling onions over this once warm flesh, your new lover offers me vegetable soup, void of the gut-wrenching death. Broths are for healing.
In keeping with the theme, 4 days to change the world, I'm gonna let y'all know it only took me 4 seconds to change my t-shirt. Welcoming back to the virtual Backchat stage, we have our CAISO partners, Juana and Kellogg.
For over a decade, CAISO Sex and Gender Justice has offered the public a consistent voice and face for LGBTQI+ issues and human rights, shifting the needle measurably on how the nation imagines, understands, and talks about sex and gender diversity. CAISO has successfully built alliances among LGBTQI+ groups with other Trinidad and Tobago NGOs and movements, and has worked collaboratively to build capacity, resilience, make interventions, and deliver justice.
Since 2020, our Wholeness and Justice program has provided legal and psychosocial services centered on healing and resilience to LGBTQI+ people in Trinidad and Tobago who've experienced human rights violations. As a response to the growing needs of the community, we also provide a range of community support to LGBTQI+ people among us who need it. We are committed to extending compassionate care in our response to violations of LGBTQI+ community members. Key insights and analysis from over a full year of providing legal, clinical, and social services to over 30 clients in 2021 have affirmed the need for this program and our continued investment.
It is our pleasure to introduce artist Arnaldo James and his presentation titled Compassionate States, an artistic intervention creating space for discussion on homophobia, xenophobia, and racism in the Caribbean context.
Welcome, Arnaldo James.
Hi, I'm Arnaldo James.
Samantha Farmer.
I am Alim Baksh.
I'm Machi Mango.
I am Johan Medford from North Dublin.
I'm here to talk to you about Compassionate States, which is North 11's project. This is where we explore the impacts of statelessness on Indigenous and LGBTQ Caribbean folks via our artwork, research that we've done, and collaboration with a number of artists.
All of my pieces have a similar theme. It's the theme of change. So it is an abstract take on how it affects people in families and as individuals.
My attempt at the topic was to represent suppression of self, separation of identity and state, and statelessness in being forgotten. My medium was digital illustration in a messy sketch style because that gives me a sense of freedom.
Really challenged just my general workflow, because I don't really think about topics like this. It is a very serious topic, and that really changed how I approached this, and I'm glad I did.
Each of the questions that I've prepared in my artwork is intended to bring about some self-reflection in the audiences that view it. My hope is that people identify myths that they've strongly held, that their curiosity is heightened, and that they both seek out truths and more compassionate and honest viewpoints on folks who find themselves typically ostracized, marginalized, and disadvantaged within and at the peripheries of our society.
I wanted to give prominence to words and labels that have nuances. My hope with the work that I've created is that it will be shown on a larger scale. So I'm thinking more along the lines of buildings and installations that will stimulate conversation and hopefully feed off the other work from our team as well as the other participants to engage everyone in some semblance of conversation.
Encouraging peaceful action from audiences privileged with state safety, we at North 11 seek to empower Caribbean indigenous peoples and the lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, and asexual community. We take this action because these peoples are adversely marginalized and endangered by the climates of miseducation, violence, and environmental change permeating the Caribbean.
Welcoming to the virtual stage, we have our next performer, the winner of the 2018 First Citizens National Poetry Slam, my good friend, Deneka Thomas, with their amazing poem, I Cannot Be Prayed Away.
Tell my mother she never had a daughter to begin with. Tell her that her girl child used to look into mirrors and wish she was other. If the devil asked for my soul in exchange for this question mark that hung over my head, I would have taken his offer, taken the certainty over this minefield of a body, and all of the talks of blasphemy, all of the assumptions made about this body without anybody ever asking me. Tell my mother, God don't like ugly. Ask her if he never makes mistakes, how come she wishes me remade? Imagine an image of God too cool to be good. Tell her that the binary is overrated. Tell her there must be a verse somewhere in the Bible against rejecting your firstborn. And if she insists on reminding me that God burnt an entire city because of what I am, tell her baptizing me so many times only prolonged the inevitable. Tell her I wish she accepted me the way that I am, the way I've accepted that she can't. Tell her I wasn't just a tomboy. Tell her closet used to be prayer rooms before people started hanging things in them. Tell her the dresses used to feel like imprisonment. And I didn't like the sound of my voice or my breasts or anything about this body. Tell her I had to learn how to live in this body because my home is a shitty place. Here we see it sin to be soft or otherworldly. Here parents keep us small, make us shrink, and we pass the boxes on to our children like relay. Trauma is rinsed, repeated, and held up for us to carry like trophies. Look at me, all void of prayer and holy. I am not something a parent could be proud of. Tell my mother I was always a little out of orbit. Tell her no amount of cut ass would have been able to set me straight. Tell her I am surprised she didn't see what I was when she was at church morning. Tell her most days I feel orphaned, like an immigrant roaming foreign land, and I still haven't figured out the customs of this skin, and I don't have a handle on the language of this body. Tell her I am something out of this world, and it's okay for her to think me alien, that she doesn't have to love me if it's hard to, Tell her in an alternate universe her love is effortless. Tell her in another she does not wish me dead. Tell my mother that I cannot be prayed away. Tell her no amount of flags planted or offerings burnt black would make me bring her less shame. Tell her that some days it feels like I've lost her in one of the most permanent ways. And I cry the same way I used to as a child, imagining her gone. Tell my mother she should have held me as tight as she clutched her Bibles. Reassure me of her love the way she would recite prayers or praise. Tell her I wish she didn't look at me and see regret. Wish sometimes that I had the kind of rage to break everything that she loved that was not me. Every altar she bowed to that seemed to feed her hate. Tell my mother I am gay. Tell her I like women. And even though this body says differently, I am not one. Tell her I am an accumulation of amens and omens, and often I wish she didn't care so much about what people think or how every wrong thing about me made her look. Tell her I am only estranged because she refuses to accept me for who I am. But I know it's hard, and I wouldn't want to force something that does not come by nature. Tell her this body is a museum. Tell her I am not dead yet. Tell her I will live by my own terms, that I deserve to be happy, that I will be happy. Tell her if this body isn't real, then it must be magic. Tell her I am magic.
Before we wrap up this evening, I want to take it back over to CAISO, who is going to introduce our final writer, Angelique V. Nixon.
Hi, it's us again.
Kellogg.
Johanna.
This work of celebrating and using creative imagination remains at the core of what we do at CAISO to transform harmful cultural norms and advance justice for all.
CAISO is a feminist civil society organization committed to ensuring wholeness, justice, and inclusion for Trinidad and Tobago's LGBTQI+ communities by developing analysis, alliances, and advocacy.
It's my honor to introduce to you one of CAISO's directors. She's a writer, scholar, activist, and co-curator of Backchat at the NGC Bocas Lit Fest, Angelique V. Nixon. She's the author of the poetry and art collection Saltwater Healing and the award-winning scholarly book Resisting Paradise. Angelique strives in her work to create spaces for resistance and desire. Welcome, Angelique.
Hello, my name is Angelique V. Nixon, and my poem is called We've Been Here a Long Time. We have to keep saying it. We're not foreign, and we've been full of pride. Maybe not that version of pride flowing rainbows in American streets with historic parades. New York's Stonewall Uprising, yes, a birth of a movement. We celebrate trans women leaders, Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. But you know, we had our own gay freedom movement erupted in Jamaica long time. Fierce Caribbean leaders. There was flight, exile, struggle, but they lived, laughed, loved, and I'm sure danced furiously. Remember this too, we've been here. Maybe our version of pride to some might look like hiding, but it's also how we live, sometimes quiet, sometimes seen and unseen. There is no one way of living or being queer. On the front lines, building in spaces, quietly caring and doing, loudly supporting, loving each other. We built archives of knowing, preserving, we stories, we've been here a long time. Yet some people still say we don't belong here, foreign, unnatural. But we've been here long before fear-mongering evangelicals. We've been here long before pink tourism and pride parades. We born inside this Caribbean bush. Salt water resurrected, submerged, flamboyant, Juve blessed. We've been here a long time, blissfully queer. And so, what does it mean for us same-sex loving people, gays, lesbians, bisexuals, trans, intersex, queers, bullas, zami, masisi, gender-defying, beautiful bodies to take these streets? What does it look like, sound like, feel like for hundreds of us gender-bending, sexy, fly, fabulous to walk through these streets? I feel your resistance, femboys, butch girls expressing gender how we feel, waking up every day, dressing fiercely, facing the world, regardless of how people stare. Stare back, throw your flame, walk in power. I feel your resistance. People of trans experience, trans women, trans men take risks every day, deciding which streets to walk, how to travel, what to wear, worrying about safety, what people might do or say. Ignite protection, exude courage, cast your spells, walk in power. I feel your resistance, gender non-conforming, non-binary folks, inciting gender panic. People ask, you as a boy or a girl? What to say when they can't see your humanity beyond gender boxes? Disrupt what it means to be human. Fuck with the binary. Reject the status quo. Define yourself on your terms. Be who you are. Walk in power. I feel your resistance, women loving women, femmes, bi and pansexual, bodies seen as pleasure for others, super freaks, feminine essence, wild and uncontrollable, desires invisible or too much, too queer, not queer enough. Embrace your frequencies, we are fucking warriors, wine all the way up, walk in power. Remember, we come from people who had to fuck with gender and so-called respectability. We come from people who were not seen as human beings because of race, so much so that sex was another cruel liability. Colonial horrors. We can never be one thing or the other. We whose bodies have been testing grounds for other people's litmus of being human, we have a right to redefine our bodies, our desires, our genders, our sexualities through ancestral knowledge, reshaping what was submerged and hidden, what is in our blood. We get to be. We get to be here. We are here. We are erotic. Freedom. Walk in power. Guided by ancestors, I walk with spirit. I speak my obeah, black and queer as fuck.
Well, we've reached the end of our festivities. Whether it be virtual or in person, I want to thank everybody for coming together tonight to make sure Backchat 2022 went off. I want to thank NGC Bocas Lit Fest, CAISO, NovelNiche, Rebel Women Lit, as well as Intersect Antigua for pulling this together and bringing on amazing acts. Thank you all to all of our poets, our writers, the production team, everybody who helped pull this together. I want to thank you all the viewers at home watching with us tonight. It's unfortunate that we can't be together, but you know, we're almost there. But as a special treat, I want to bring on my girl, Xoë Sazzle, as Ms. Janae, performing Love is Love. Remember, be safe, be careful, love one another, love literature.
Beyond looks and stuff, it's a fame and the life is looking in the mirror and say I also forget this back, no button.